So this video is a tutorial on how to embed your Geogebra applets into your Blackboard course so that students can use them. So if I scroll down, this is one of my classes. If I scroll down, I have a applet here that I made in Geogebra Classic 5, which is important. We'll talk about that in a second. And I go ahead and go in here and edit this, and you'll notice there's not a whole lot going on right here. But if I click the HTML button, then there's quite a bit more going on. Make it a little bit larger. So there's a little bit of junk code here. Blackboard has an HTML pre parser, and it will go through and change some things because it's expecting to use HTML only, which is useful if you make a mistake or if you don't put tags in, it'll go and do them for you, which is pretty good. But if you're trying to use JavaScript, it's the opposite of pretty good. It will break things sometimes, so you have to be very careful with it. So this first script, this just loads a JavaScript library to make the applet work. This script defines the attributes of the applet, and then this bit of code here inserts the applet into the Blackboard page. So if I were to take this center and move it, say above the text, right, then the text would show up below the applet. But I don't want that, so I'm not going to do that. But you put it wherever you want. This code places it in the Blackboard page. So let's focus in on this bit of code where we define the applet. So if you've done any coding, you recognize, oh, we're defining a variable, var ggb app. That's going to be the applet name. And then we're using this method to make the applet. We define some attributes like the width, the height, and so forth. Here, this GGG base code 64, this is a string that encodes the applet. So this is saying, oh, the following string, namely the one below it, this is what defines the applet. If you look at this scroll bar, you'll notice it's a very long string of characters, right? If I put my cursor somewhere in that line and I hit end, it takes me all the way to the end. You'll see there's a quote there at the end. If I go left one, hold shift to hit home, and then right one, I've highlighted just that snippet of code, and I can delete it, and then I have this, right? And if you email me, I will send you just that bit of code, so you can copy paste it into your course and use it. So you don't have to like copy this from my Blackboard course. You just paste this into HTML in the Blackboard item. So I don't want to delete that right now. Let's leave it alone. And I'm just going to save this and leave it as is, or I could hit undo or cancel, I guess, but I'll save it. Hopefully we haven't broken anything. And then we'll go back here and we'll hit submit. Or if I want cancel. So now my Geogebra item is still there. Now you might not want to have to deal with the you might well, however you want to do it, but I'm gonna copy this because it will illustrate something important, because you might want to have two applets on the same page in your Blackboard course, and that can run into problems, because if I scroll down, you'll see this second one didn't work. It didn't load. You can ask, well, why is that? There's two reasons. There's two things we have to change if I want to have it show up. Well, there's one thing I have to change if I want it to show up twice. There's two things I have to change if I want it to show up as a different applet. So I'm going to go to Edit, and I'll go into HTML. And here, I need to name this something else. This does not get loaded a second time if it's the same item. So I'm going to call this 2. And then up here, that's the same name. So I have to call this 2. Basically, this code injects the applet into this element. So if I hit update and save, I should now have 2 of them, but they should be the same one. Okay. And if I change this one, they're not, connected. They're 2 instances of the same thing. So I can change one and then they're independent. But if I want to make a different thing, just if I want several Geogebra applets on one page, I don't want them to be the same, of course. So how do I change that? Well, I'm going to go in here, go back to edit, and then go to HTML again. And you'll notice there's a little bit more junk code. Every time you save it, it'll add some more stuff. So to change this, I need to go to the line with the string, hit end, go all the way to the end, back up 1, hold shift, hit home, and then go right 1, and delete that code. I don't want to use that code. That's the applet that I already have. So I'll pull up Geogebra Classic 5, and here's where things get really nice and convenient. For this one, in fact, let's do this. Let's close this one, don't save it. Open a new one, and I'm going to do Control V. This is what I had copied from before, right? Just to show that you could move it around. So let me delete that. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to press and hold Control and Shift and hit B. Now that has copied the base 64 code. If I go back over here to Notepad and do Control V, there's the code. So if you use Classic 5, it's that simple. I pull this up, make sure my cursor is between those same quotes. Control V, now the code is in there, right? And I have to do one more thing. If I save it like this, it's not going to work because, I mean, I could show you, but what's going to happen is I'm defining a variable, and if you define a variable twice, the first one gets thrown out, and the second one, it's redefined. So I have to change this as well. If I don't change GGB app to something else, then I'm going to have the circles twice. I don't want that. I want the triangle first, the circle second. So I'm going to change this to GGB app2, and down here also GGB app2. So now if I update, both the HTML element and the JavaScript object are different. So now I should have two different applets, the triangle and the circles. And if I want a third one, I can make a third one. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's say I want to copy. Well, you know what? Let's do another one from scratch. How about that? And yeah, that's hidden. Okay, so let's do another one from scratch. So build item. So like when you go to make your first one, you're going to have to do this. So GGB from scratch. Okay, go to HTML. I'm going to pull up this notepad. This is the thing I'll send to you. Copy, paste. Now, this is the third one. So I need to say that this is number 3. And this is number 3. So the GGB app in both places needs to have a 3. The GGG, we'll just go with that. B elements has to be 3 now because I have 3 of them. So I don't want to reuse that same HTML element. Okay. So now if I just save this, there'll be nothing there because I didn't put the base64 code in. But if I bring up this and I say, I don't know, delete, get rid of all that, right? Oops. Let's say I just want, I don't know, let's make an ellipse. Bam, ellipse, right? So I don't have to save or anything. I just do Control-Shift-B, that copies the code. Go here, put my cursor between the base64 quotes, Control-V, inserts the code, update, go back here and submit. And unless I've done something wrong, I've got my oval, I've got my triangle, I've got my circles, and I've got my ellipse, and it's that simple. Now, if you would like to see how to do this with a different version, well, it depends, because I generally only use Classic 5 because it's this simple. But if you use a different version, just email me and I'll help you figure it out, or maybe I can make a video on how to do that. Also, it's just a bit of a pain. So, yeah. You know what? Let's go ahead and I'll show you real quick what it looks like. I won't go through all the details, but I'll just show you what it looks like. So these are in a web page, right? So I'm gonna hit F12 on Chrome at least. That shows me my elements. And when I highlight stuff over here, I get stuff on the left. And let's do this. Let's right click this one and go to inspect. It will take me to that one. There we go. Okay. So now I can say we have a content list item. I can open this and go look for, so when I move, what's highlighted changes. So that's the one I want. So I can click that, and it's this one, and you can see why this is a pain. There's the center, right? There's the div. There's the applet. There is the base64 code. So I can right click, copy element, open a new notepad, Control V. I said I wasn't going to do this, but now we are. So, here we go. I can delete that extra. This is part of the hard part. You have to find, where does it start? It starts here. So there we go. That's the code from the web page. And depending on the web page, this might be easy, or it might be hard, or the applet might be loaded not through a base64 code. It might be loaded through a link to a file, and that's another layer of complication. So if you need more help with that, just send me an email. I'll help you figure it out. But that's how to do it with Classic 5, which is probably the easiest way to do it.